Previously on Criticism, I ranked my top 20 personal favorite Animaniacs segments, the original one, and my top 5 worst Animaniacs segments, as well as giving my thoughts on the reboot. And to continue on with the special, here in part 2, we're going to go over Wakko's Wish. Oh shoot, hold on, I need a better handling of the disc. I don't want to get fingerprints on it. Anyway, we're back. Wakko's Wish. Again, excuse the weird, unprofessional filming of this one. It's just my show at this point. It's like my trademark. You know, it's happened all season. I'm all over the place. But yeah, we're going to go over Wakko's Wish. The direct-to-video film that released at the very end of 1999, even though this version of it didn't come out till 2014. And also, this is probably my favorite movie of all time. So let's begin. Let's continue this special and talk about the movie. But first, I'm actually just gonna read the synopsis first, somewhat quickly. That's a very hard word to say. And it's as follows. So, this movie takes place in the kingdom of Warnerstock, which was being ruled by Sir William the Good. However, once he passed away, Warnerstock entered a state of civil war. Tiktakia took advantage of that war and took over Warnerstock. And now the kingdom was being ruled by King Salazar, who in this movie is practically a new character. Like, they've introduced him. He's pretty much never been in the show. I don't recall him ever being in the show. And I mention that because with Salazar, there's also the greedy tax collector, Baron von Plotz, who is just Thaddeus Plotz in the original, send the kingdom to misery. Acme Falls, the town in the kingdom that everyone lives in, is in need of prosperity and riches, and Wakko accidentally summons a wish-granting star, which initiates the Warners and everyone's journey to the wishing star, which landed a decent distance away, hoping to reach the star before everyone else who hears about it through them and King Salazar, because they told everyone about the star. But I'll get to that later. And speaking of everyone, like, speaking of the others, this movie also features, like, pretty much everyone. Like, I'm not joking. Like, hold on. This movie features basically everyone, almost. Minus the very scant appearances from the Bluebird and Charlton Woodchuck. They're not in here at all. Like, even Rita and Runt appear in this movie for the first time, actually speaking since, like, near the end of season 1 of the original. That is wild. That is actually wild. And also, in the movie, the Warners are like orphans. And they're just living on the street since their orphanage shut down. Like, they start the movie basically dirt poor. Possibly due to the tax collector, Plotz, who made all of Acme Falls poor and miserable to the point where it seems unfixable. And also dies sick as well, and in need of an operation. That is a tongue twister right there. In need of an operation. That's what I'm trying to say. So Wakko goes and find work. He goes to find work so he can pay for the operation, and he comes back with a halfpenny in song. Which, by the way, just like Hooray for North Hollywood, this movie is indeed a musical. And every song in this movie slaps. All of them. Including the Haypenny song. So, everyone heard the train, because before the song happened, the train, the train came in, everyone heard it. Everyone's cheering on Wakko due to the Haypenny. He has a Haypenny now, and Ralph hears about it. I don't know why the heck he's outside, but he's there. He snitches on Wakko to Plotz, who hears about the Haypenny, and like I mentioned before, since he was taxing everyone in Acme Falls, Wakko's halfpenny eventually gets brought to the hands of Von Plotz. And then later that night, Wakko accidentally summons a wishing star, which Pip makes an interesting cameo here. And then the next morning, they prepare to get to the wishing star. However, for some reason, they don't really make it like a private thing, like just for themselves, right? No, so they can get money for Dot's operation, No, they tell everyone in song, and it persuades everyone to try to get to the wishing star first. Like, huh? However, it does make the movie more entertaining, I will admit. But somehow Salazar eventually finds out about that star. And once Ralph and Platz, who are there for some reason, I guess he's like their boss. They force, he forces Ralph and Platz to give him the details about the star. And they oblige and then force them to get to the wishing star so Salazar can have his wish. Not Ralph and Platz. He doesn't want to do it himself. Salazar forced them to go out. First he wanted them to give Salazar the details, like tell me everything. And he's like, okay, now I want you two to get to the star so I can have a wish. Huh? But since he fucking made them do it, I'm all over the place, but you know what I mean. Since he made the two people, Ralph and Platz, do the thing, like they're on their way to the star, now he has Bobby, Pesto, and Squid, who are up in the sky, to look after them, which they don't really acknowledge that. Like, they don't even acknowledge the fact that they're even looking after them. They immediately forget. And then they think about going after the wishing star themselves, too. For respect, by the way. They want respect, which is, that's crazy. So yeah, now at this point in the movie, everyone's on their way, and eventually they do arrive, only to find out that somehow Salazar made it there first. And Yakko tells Salazar that the Warners know something about the star that he doesn't, just to keep them from using the star, right? So they go on like a tirade of jokes. Salazar puts them on a roller coaster ride and makes references to the roller coaster ride makes references to like the more popular moments from the original show. The Warners still refuse to tell him the secret after that, so what does Salazar do? He threatens to kill them. So he locks up the Warners, again, threatens to kill them. They escape due to one of the guards being weirded out by Dot's cuteness. It's somewhat of a running gag, kinda, not really, in the original show for like one singular episode. But for some reason they kind of bring it back a little bit in this movie. Kind of random, but whatever. But anyway, they're locked up, supposedly, because Salazar's about to go to the star to make his wish, and then he gets a notice that the Warners escaped and are rushing to get the star. He tries to kill them with a cannonball, which is weird, but like you guys had like muskets for pretty much the whole movie, and you're gonna use a freaking a cannonball? I mean, that's probably more dangerous, I guess, but it actually hits Dot, who appears to be near death, like she's about to die. And this scene actually repeats a story that was already told by Yakko in the first half of the movie, but that part was in like a more playful way. This scene is in the more emotional part. It's like the emotional part of the story. It makes the story punch more. And after the story, she dies. The guard from before that sets them free makes a comment about her death being Salazar's fault, and he barely shows any remorse or empathy at all. Like, barely. Like, come on, man. Like, and then Wakko makes a run for it and wishes for 2 halfpennies. Salazar loses, Dot gets an operation. Everyone actually did get their wish, despite not getting to the star themselves. Pinky and their brain actually end up taking over the world. Almost. Not really. But it's a step in the right direction. It's like they're like a ruler. Not really a taking over the world kind of thing, but it's a step in the right direction with this movie. However, almost everyone got their wish, though. Not Salazar and the mime. and technically the good feathers. Then the movie ends with the Wheel of Morality, which I actually forgot to even mention in the first part. It was usually the last thing most episodes in seasons 1 and 2 would end with. There were also other random shorts that they would throw in there, like Mime Time, Good Idea, Bad Idea, Randy Beeman stories, all that kind of stuff. Just some random stuff. But yeah, the movie ends and there's no post credits. That's it. The movie just ends. But man, it's a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. Absolutely amazing. Literally every single song in the movie is great. All of them. The animation's great. It's phenomenal. The voice acting's perfect. Besides the Skippy lines, they're a bit strange. Some of them aren't great. Not completely horrible though, but it is what it is. That's the only criticism I have for the movie, to be completely fair. But besides that, actual 10 out of 10. Peak movie. Absolute cinema. Again, even though this is part 2, and I haven't said that in this part, but until now, but yeah. Peak movie. 10 out of 10. And unfortunately, that is the end of the Season 1 Animaniacs special. I hope you enjoyed this little idea that I've had cooking up in the vault for a few months now, actually, but it's over. I hope you enjoyed it. Join us next week for the Season 1 finale. I'll see you there. Peace out, everyone. Peace.